Good morning and welcome back to Pitt to the Point. I'm Jordan Sapp.
And I'm Charlotte Reeve.
Join us for another exciting edition of Pitt to the Point, our Emmy Award-nominated weekly news and magazine show broadcasting live from the state-of-the-art Pitt studios.
Get ready for a comprehensive dive into everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the heartbeat of the city and beyond, covering national and international events, noteworthy individuals, and compelling stories.
We're thrilled to bring back your favorite segments and introduce fresh features, including live reports that shine a spotlight on thriving activities happening across our diverse University of Pittsburgh regional campuses.
Keep an eye out for our newest segment, Crossing Over at Pitt, showcasing the groundbreaking collaborations between different departments and schools, setting new standards for innovative teaching across the nation.
Stay tuned as we connect live with our affiliate high schools, offering a glimpse into their vibrant communities and initiatives. And of course, we'll continue to keep you informed about the latest developments in politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment, from Pitt to the Point. We begin our show this morning with recent changes to the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police.
As of Monday, February 26th, Pittsburgh officers will now work 4 days per week for 10 hours per day, instead of the traditional 5 days per week for 8 hours per day.
Other changes include a reduction in overnight staff for the city. Desk officers will be replaced with an online and telephone reporting unit that will respond to the majority of calls.
Calls that are not ongoing emergencies like theft or harassment will also be directed to these online and telephone reporting units rather than an officer.
These department changes will not affect the University of Pittsburgh Police staffing or hours.
We reached out to the University of Pittsburgh Police, and they provided us with this statement. The University of Pittsburgh Police Department has a strong and mutually beneficial working relationship with the City of Pittsburgh Police. We will continue to collaborate and partner with City Police in the same manner as before these changes were implemented.
There will be 2 Republican caucuses held this weekend in Idaho and Missouri. These meetings will determine the amount of delegates awarded to each Republican candidate. This, in turn, will determine who wins the presidential nomination.
These will be the last 2 of the last caucuses held ahead of the so-called Super Tuesday. On next Tuesday, March 5th, 16 candidates will vote in their primary elections, both Democratic and Republican.
As of now, former President Donald Trump remains the Republican lead with 122 delegates, while Nikki Haley falls behind with a mere 24 delegates.
Also, political Mitch McConnell recently announced he will be stepping down as Senate Republican leader this November. We turn to our political reporter, Olivia McDonald, to hear more on these stories. Olivia?
Thanks, Jordan and Charlotte. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump led Michigan's presidential primary by a landslide. Along with Michigan, Missouri, and Idaho will host their Republican caucuses starting Saturday morning. Take a look at what happened and what's to come. Coming out of the Michigan presidential primary, Joe Biden and Donald Trump won the most delegates for their party. This will most likely lead to them going head-to-head in the 2024 presidential election. Joe Biden lost 100,000 Democratic votes due to how he has been handling the Israel-Gaza conflict.
We are voting uncommitted. These Michigan Democrats are declaring their protest vote against Joe Biden, the president they helped elect in 2020. Turning the tide, his administration's reluctance to call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Over the next 3 days, Nikki Haley and Donald Trump will be going head-to-head in 5 different Republican caucuses. On Saturday, Michigan will give the rest of their 39 Republican delegates to either Trump or Haley. The Missouri Republican Party will hold presidential caucuses on Saturday, offering voters their only chance to weigh in. 32 delegates are up for grabs in the Idaho caucus. If a candidate gets 50% of the votes, they will take home all 32. However, if a candidate gets 15% of votes, the delegates will be split. The Washington, D.C. and North Dakota caucuses are happening right before Super Tuesday. These states together will offer 48 delegates for the Republican candidates to take home. Illinois Judge Tracy Porter concluded that Trump is disqualified from the ballot because of his engagement in the January 6, 2021 insurrection. States have already taken his name off their ballots, and this is the second case going to the Supreme Court involving him. The Supreme Court is now going to decide if Trump should be immune from prosecution regarding how he tried to overturn the 2020 election. On Wednesday, Mitch McConnell announced that he would step aside as his role of Republican leader of the Senate. McConnell plans to serve out the rest of his term that goes till January 2027, just from a different seat in the Senate.
One of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter. So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues, to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. However, I'll complete my job my colleagues have given me.
These states' caucuses are held just days before this year's Super Tuesday, which is taking place on March 5th. For Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Olivia McDonald. Jordan, Charlotte.
Thanks, Olivia. Starting last Monday, the Supreme Court began hearing a case that could change how you use social media.
The case began after Texas and Florida passed laws regarding social media's ability to ban users from their platform. In 2021, Twitter and Facebook banned former President Donald Trump from their platforms for his remarks during the alleged January 6th insurrection.
This ruling will decide the precedent of if social companies will be treated more like news outlets or businesses under the law.
The states argue that social media companies align more with business practices and therefore should not be allowed to restrict the content on their platforms.
This case argues the application of the First Amendment and where it stands concerning social media.
Now, the North Shore is known for its music and sports venues, and many students in particular are fans of the area for its popular bar establishments.
Now, one company has introduced plans to expand the North Shore, adding even more destinations for Pittsburghers. With more on this is our business and technology reporter, Jack Agnew. Jack?
Thanks, Jordan and Charlotte. Did you know that George Ferris, inventor of the Ferris wheel, used to be a resident of Pittsburgh's North Shore in 1893? This fact might be a little easier to remember in the future thanks to Pitt Company's new Esplanade project. Besides a 174-foot Ferris wheel, Pitt is planning to renovate over 8 acres of land along the Ohio River into a new, mixed-use community center.
Pittsburgh's North Shore could be looking very different very soon. Real estate, hospitality, and development company Pitt has released newly rendered images of their planned Esplanade project, a potential hub for housing, entertainment, and tourism in the City Chateau neighborhood. The Esplanade, meaning promenade over water, will be just that, a massive renovation of the land upon the Ohio River. The plans include apartments, condominiums, a hotel, retail space, restaurants, an aquarium, even a 174-foot tall Ferris wheel.
As someone who has recently gotten a car on campus and who maybe abuses the bus system and the free bus passes that the university gives us, I think I would absolutely take advantage of having this sort of space close by. I have gone to different communities, different neighborhoods within Pittsburgh, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love doing that on weekends with my friends. So having this new place to go, I think I would benefit from it. I think a lot of my friends would benefit from that.
Pitt's website proudly claims that this entire project will be run on sustainable energy and green infrastructure, and will additionally respect the environment of the river it calls home. As of now, the Esplanade plans have been approved by the Urban Redevelopment Association of Pittsburgh since 2021, and Pitt hopes to continue with a master development plan approval this year.
I think there will definitely be benefits of this addition to the Pittsburgh community. I would absolutely be interested in going to this area, exploring. I like museums, I like arts and culture type things.
If all goes well, construction could begin as soon as the end of 2024 and be completed by 2028, providing a new tourist destination within the decade.
For more information on the Esplanade's development, you can visit Pitt's website at piatt.com. For Pitt to the Point, I'm business and technology reporter Jack Agnew. Jordan, Charlotte?
Thanks, Jack. The Pitt News continues to deliver reliable and timely news to our campus and the Pittsburgh community.
This week, we take a look at the Pittsburgh Reproductive Justice Convention, the Student Government Board election results, and the recent Brazilian Festival at Pitt.
Let's check out this week's headlines.
Reproductive Rights and Justice Convention. A reproductive justice convention was organized and hosted by Pitt's Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies program. The Pitt Brazilian Student Association, or BrazilNuts, hosted their 18th annual Brazilian Festival in the William Pitt Union. The festival's theme was From the Allegheny to the Amazon and Beyond, which featured a dinner from a local Brazilian chef, samba group dancing by the Lua Dance Club, and live music. Pitt's SGB election results. Current President Ryan Young will hand down his role as SGB President to current Vice President Sarah Mayer. Sonny Overton, Maddie McCann Colvard, and Ashley White also won board member positions.
It's just important to be able to have a say in what is going on within their own student government, because the student government is in charge of a lot of things. I know with allocations for club funding. And I know, specifically with, voting this time, there's, two different questions that are about, how they do allocations and, increasing the student activity fee and stuff like that. And so I think that especially, when you're involved with activities in Pitt, it's just important to be able to have, a say in what is going on in general.
These members will take office fall of 2024.
For all you Yinzers out there, it's hard to forget the amazing touchdown Jerome the Bus Bettis made for the Steelers in 2006 Super Bowl.
Learn about the legendary sports guest who made that call coming up soon.
Guys, greatness is only a few feet away from us. It's up to us to walk that mile.
But I want you to hold on to the ball.
I will.
All right, you promise me? I promise.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or Nationality Room.
What do you think?
So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC.
Have you watched a story today that's interested you and want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Then visit our website.
That's right. If you want to find out more about anything you've seen on the show today, go to the World Wide Web to pittothepoint.com. You can watch clips from today's show and also read more in-depth articles about the stories that interest you. Find all of this and more on pittothepoint.com.
And make sure you check out us on social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and your mom's favorite, Facebook.
They're all under the name Pitt to the Point, and that is spelled with the number 2. You'll see our talented cast of reporters on there, as well as behind-the-scenes footage from our crew. Folks, it's now time for our segment that reaches out to high schools across Pennsylvania. This week, we're working with our own Pitt to the Point alumnus alma mater, Lancaster Catholic High School.
That's right, and they've been one of our original partners since this segment began. What have you got for us, Anna and Autumn?
And I'm Autumn Lipson.
We are students from Lancaster Catholic High School in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Here at Catholic, we like to have many options when it comes to clubs for our students to be more involved in.
Here is a story about our very own chess club named Chestnuts.
Let's dive into the strategic world of Chestnuts, our chess club here at Lancaster Catholic. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced player, Chestnuts provides a welcoming environment. This club meets just about once a week to work on strategies and skills. Chess Club is more than just a club. It's a community of individuals who share a love for the ancient game of chess.
So as the captain, I get to play the 1-seeds of the other schools, and so far I have an undefeated record.
I like the competition, and winning chess games is really satisfying.
I think it's lovely to get to see the interest in younger minds and get to see how they grow and develop as they go through their season.
Not only is chess an enjoyable game, but it's also a competitive way to brush up on some brain skills. For the Lancaster Catholic Morning Show, I'm Gemma Navikas.
Chess engages the mind by stimulating logical thinking, fostering pattern recognition, requiring both visual and analytic decision-making, and putting memory to the test. It's a game suitable for all ages, offering lifelong brain exercise that contributes to cognitive health. Back to you guys.
Well, that was a great story, guys. So what's your own favorite board game?
My favorite board game is Clue because I love the mystery aspect and finding out who did the crime.
My favorite game is Scrabble. My family likes to get really competitive, and it also made us read the dictionary when we were little.
That's awesome, guys. Why did you guys choose to highlight chestnuts?
We have a new teacher this year, which was he was previewed in the package that we made, and one of our team members created the package. And we thought it was a really good way to give them some publicity because not everyone knows that we really have a chess club, and there's definitely a lot of people that would be interested in joining.
That's awesome. Did you guys learn any fun facts about chess?
I learned that each player is ranked, and then when they go against other teams and schools, they play against the person that is also ranked the same number as them.
Well, that was a great story, guys. Again, thank you so much. This past Tuesday, February 27th, was the University of Pittsburgh's annual Day of Giving.
This is a 24-hour fundraising event in which donors can choose specific departments, clubs, or organizations within the university to give to.
Events included a banner signing, karaoke, and even a scavenger hunt. There were also power hour challenges where donations were matched.
This year, Pitt's Day of Giving raised almost $2.5 million from over 11,000 donors.
And to our Pitt Greensburg campus, they also did some fundraising of their own this week. They hosted their annual charity basketball game yesterday.
This year, the proceeds from the game will benefit the No Kill Animal Adoption Center and Farm Sanctuary, Heal Animal Rescue. With more information is our regional campus reporter, Zach Hankins. Zach?
This past Thursday, Pitt Greensburg's Student Government Association hosted its annual charity basketball game between the students and the faculty in order to raise money for the local animal rescue organization, Heal. The money comes from donations as well as through selling raffle tickets throughout the day. And the event has become a staple of not only the Pitt Greensburg Student Government Association, but of the greater Greensburg community.
Yeah, so this has been going on, I want to say it's our 15th, 16th annual charity game. So essentially it is students versus faculty and staff in some kind of sport. Basketball's been the most common, but there's been some volleyball, and there's been a couple years of kickball. Each year then the Student Government Association will pick a different charity. I try to encourage them to do something local or something that's affecting our campus, or something that maybe some of the members are connected with.
The Student Government Association considered many options, including some organizations that were larger and more global in scale. However, they decided to go local and choose the animal rescue organization HEAL, which is based out of Youngwood, Pennsylvania.
We focused our insights a little more on the local charities, and it was between Big Brother, Big Sister and HEAL. We ultimately decided to go with HEAL because right now they have a project where they would like to get a neuter van for Westmoreland County.
Beyond just raising money for charity, the event works to build and cultivate the greater Greensburg community.
Me personally, I think we choose this event because not only does it connect us with the community, because we tend to choose a local organization to donate any proceeds of money to, but it also builds the campus community together because it just, like I said, it gets everyone involved and all hands are on deck for it.
While an official count of all the funds raised through yesterday's events has yet to be completed, it was estimated that between $5,000 and $6,000 will have been raised in order to support the wonderful animals over at HEAL. From Pitt to the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Zach Hankins. Jordan, Charlotte?
Thank you, Zach. This week, our newest segment on Pitt to the Point is crossing over into the world of engineering and science.
Brandon Granger and Paul Ohodnicki work on many projects together with the Electrical and Computing Engineering and Mechanical and Materials Science departments in the Swanson School of Engineering. Check it out.
I'm Paul Ohodnicki, and I'm a faculty member in the Swanson School of Engineering in the Mechanical Engineering and Materials Science department.
I'm Professor Brandon Granger. I'm an associate professor in the Swanson School of Engineering, a part of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering.
A lot of the work that I do is very interdisciplinary. This lab has an emphasis on electric power. My focus is on everything from the materials all the way up to manufacturing components based on those materials. It involves material science, electrical engineering. It even involves a little bit of physics and mechanical engineering as well.
The Department of Energy is funding us to work on, hey, we have these rare earth elements and we want to use non-rare earth elements. We're going to be putting these elements in permanent magnet machines, and you'll see these in wind turbines, electric vehicles. Well, you need to have an abundant supply of non-rare earth elements for the vehicles that we're going to be using in the future.
The students really drive the projects. My role is to find good problems for them to work on and to make sure they have the resources and the mentoring to be successful. But really beyond that, it's all driven by the students and the researchers that are on the ground doing all of the work. And we really try and put together a team that has all of the characteristics to solve real-world problems.
PhD students, master students, even undergrad students get involved in every project that we bring in-house. One of the highlights of my career would actually be in the facility right here, to bring in all these different organizations, but someone had to be in the center to kind of connect all the puzzle pieces together to ultimately establish the lab that you see in front of you. We had to come together in a multidisciplinary fashion to kind of pull this facility off. So that's how you actually take theory from the classroom to now how do you get it actually produced in real life.
In medical news, the House of Representatives is implementing mental health screenings for Pennsylvania public schools.
We go to our medical reporter, Aditya Bhandari, for the latest news on this story. Aditya?
Thank you, Jordan and Charlotte. So last month, our House of State Representative Michael Schlossberg drafted a bill that would cater $10 million for mental health screenings across all middle and high schoolers for participating school districts. I had the opportunity to meet with the vice principal of the Woodland Hills Senior School District and hear what they had to say about both mental health, the bill, and what mental health initiatives they're already taking, and what she had to say.
My name is Michelle Collins, and I am one of the principals at Woodland Hills High School in the Woodland Hills School District. What has prompted the conversation around mental health screening in schools has been due to, of course, everyone has said COVID, and COVID, opened up the eyes of educators. So those conversations, I believe, are now taking place to put something in the schools that will help the students and help the families with the mental health. Just like we take care of our gut health, we take care of our, physical health, we also want to take care of the mental health. With the new pilot program that's being passed by the House of Representatives, I believe that educators need to be invited to the table. Be invited to the table and have an input on what the pilot program is going to look like for schools. What we have here is our resiliency room, and students who just need that timeout, that mental health check-in. This is the space that they use. Sometimes they just want to go sit in the hammock and just relax, and we give students those space. Just like adults, we need our time. We allow that time for our students as well. This space is utilized for to decompress and to regroup so that students can be successful for the rest of their school day.
So while a lot is up in the air about this proposed bill, our state representative Michael Schlossberg hopes to discuss it later this month, as also this month the House of Representatives is set to return to Harrisburg, PA. With Pitt to the Point, I am Medical Minute reporter Aditya Bhandari. Jordan, Charlotte.
Thanks, Aditya. If you remember this iconic Super Bowl call, then you'll want to stick around. A Pittsburgh Steelers legend will join us on the show after the break.
Get ready to hear from the voice of the Steelers right here on Pitt to the Point. Stay tuned.
In the far right corner of the end zone, Super Bowl 43 is history. The Pittsburgh Steelers have won the Super Bowl for a sixth-time, unprecedented in the annals of NFL play.
Time for your next adventure. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna we running up and can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC. Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna we running up and can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. Now it's time for your weekend weather report.
We're in for a rainy Saturday morning, which then becomes a high of 56 degrees. And it's supposed to be a beautiful sunny Sunday, reaching a high of 66 degrees.
Make plans to be outside Sunday before we return to our usual Pittsburgh gray. Now, doesn't that feel good? If you've been to a chiropractor before, you'll know the relief I'm talking about.
Now there is one less bone to pick with Pitt, since they are launching a program to the Chiropractic School. Let's go to our Pitt Beat reporter, Erin Clark.
The University of Pittsburgh just announced their new Doctor of Chiropractic, or DC, program set to begin in the fall of 2025. The program is the first of its kind in the state of Pennsylvania and will be an addition to Pitt School of Health and Rehabilitation Science. I had the opportunity to sit down with the director of the program, Dr. Michael Schneider, who shared with me more insight on the lead up to and goals of the DC program.
This is the first chiropractic program to be offered at a public university in the United States. So it's a very, very big deal. And so right away, one of the goals was to integrate chiropractic so that's not an alternative medicine field, that's a more mainstream healthcare. So that's being accomplished right away by having it at Pitt. The other goal of this program is to provide a very focused program on spine care. And why is that? You know, it sounds trivial, but it's not. I call it the three number ones. Three number ones about back pain. It's the number one cause of disability in the world. Number one cause for an opioid prescription in the United States. The third number one is low back and neck pain collectively are the most expensive medical condition in the United States. So it'd be 8 semesters, approximately 3 years. First year is mostly basic sciences, anatomy, physiology, right, the basics. Second year gets more into clinical reasoning and diagnosis. And our program's focused on spine and musculoskeletal, mostly spine. but all musculoskeletal problems. The third year is going to be more clinical, where they're actually in a clinic treating patients and doing integrative care with other healthcare professionals. The fall term of 2025 will be the first incoming class. We expect to open up applications this fall, probably August, September. People can start applying, and they'll be notified early 2025 of being accepted.
Well, applications will open for the area of study this upcoming fall, with the first cohort, which is expected to be about 40 students, beginning a year later. We hope to see many Pitt students join in learning to bring chiropractics more into mainstream healthcare. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Erin Clark. Jordan and Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Erin. With over 600 clubs and organizations on campus, there really is something here for everyone. This week, we take a look at Studio 412.
Studio 412 is Pitt's first lifestyle blog and magazine club. They write about topics such as fashion, music, and art. This week, our team met with the president and a few members of the club to get the inside scoop.
Studio 412 is a magazine, blog, lifestyle club where we write articles based entirely off of the creativity of students. The best thing about this club is that you have really endless opportunity within anything: writing, graphics, design, art. It just takes an army, and it takes all different kinds of artistic contribution.
Our theme this year is youth, childhood, nostalgia, all of that. But yeah, we just like to pick the ones that we feel like there's a lot of heart behind them. We feel like they're relatable, but also tell kind of a unique perspective.
We take a lot of like personal pieces, it's personal essays, it's all based off of, your piece is all based off of the writer and what you want to write. It's a great environment to foster creativity because we're all like each other, it's just one big group of friends.
It's just a really great community where you find a lot of people who can relate to things you may not have thought they would relate to. I think it's a nice little stepping stone. It allows people to get more comfortable writing for kind of like an audience. Yeah, it's just fun at the end of the day too.
It's important to have a creative outlet. It's important to feel like you belong on campus. Coming in as a transfer student, having absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, I felt so alone and nowhere to go. And I think so many people feel like that, and it's such an isolating feeling. So being able to know that you can come to a club where we will always accept your writing, we want to know what you have to say. Like, I always tell people, if you do not use the pronoun I once in your piece, you need to rewrite it. We want to hear your opinions. And I feel like on such a big campus, you don't get a lot of places to do that. You kind of just become another fish in the sea. And so Studio 412 is really important because you get a voice to be able to share with it, whatever you want to do, whether that's editing, photography, graphics, writing, you can do all of it. And it's just really cool to be able to be a part of a community like that.
Pittsburgh sports fans know it's game time when Bill Hillgrove is on the mic. He's been the play-by-play announcer for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 30 years.
Even if you don't watch sports, and I know I don't, you'll still know his voice, which speaks to his predominance in this city.
But all of that will change this fall when the veteran broadcaster retires from the NFL broadcast booth.
He's narrated nearly 500 Steelers games, including their 2 Super Bowl wins. Hillgrove is 83 and wants to spend more time with family at Conneaut Lake. Let's check out an unforgettable call from Hillgrove.
Ben gets the snap. He's back. He pumps. He scrambles around, throws it back corner of the end zone. Santonio with a touchdown. Santonio home. I don't know how he did it.
He'll remain on the prowl for the Pitt Panthers, though, and you can still catch him and tune into Pitt football and men's basketball.
And now, here is the legendary Bill Hillgrove with our city sports reporter, Sean McKillen.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Sean.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Hillgrove? There we go. All right, now we got the glitches out and ready to roll.
All right, let's get right into it, shall we?
Sure.
So, first off, congratulations on an illustrious Pittsburgh Steelers commentating career. I mean, you're an idol to all of us future sports broadcasters, so thank you very much for everything you contributed to the game. And, I mean, I hope retirement suits you well, sir.
Well, I quote Chuck Noll, who said, if you're thinking about it, it's time. And, you know, when I took the job, I told Art Rooney II, I said, I have the energy to do both. And but that was 30 years ago. The energy, thanks to Mother Nature, has changed a bit. So I have to, you know, make a tough decision, but I'm sure it's the right one. You can't go from 100 miles an hour to 0. So I'm going to get down to 50 miles an hour and be content to do Pitt football and basketball.
Absolutely, Mr. Hillgrove. And I wanted to ask you a few questions regarding your career. And I mean, let's start off with where it began. So your first job actually was as a disc jockey. And now 56 years later, you retire as a Dapper Dan Lifetime Achievement Award winner, a play-by-play announcer of 2 Super Bowl championships, and a PA Association of Broadcast Hall of Famer. I mean, did you ever think you would ever have anything like this ever happen to you in your illustrious career?
No, I kind of let the gentle winds push me. I always, you know, loved sports. As a matter of fact, from my home in Garfield up on top of the hill, I could see the lights at Forbes Field, and I said to myself, I'd like to be part of that someday, thinking that perhaps I could be a Major League Baseball player. Well, I wasn't the best player in my neighborhood, so how am I going to be a Major League Baseball player? And so I was able to combine that love of sports with an ability that I discovered at a young age to have, you know, some talent on this side of the microphone. And it's worked out rather well. But yeah, I was a disc jockey, and they came to me and said, have you done play-by-play? And I said, when I was a student at Duquesne University, they had an on-air station, which they don't anymore. And I had a chance to cut my teeth. I did a little bit of high school football and a lot of Duquesne basketball, which at the time used Fitzgerald Fieldhouse as the home venue. And, you know, it just, I said to the boss, yes, I've done play-by-play. And he said, good, Ed Conway will do football, you'll do basketball. And I got my sports hat on. That was 1969.
I love what you said when you brought up talent and all the history you brought up with the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, and I mean a bunch of other historic moments that happened with the Steelers. And speaking of that, we're going to take a quick look, Bill, at some of your famous calls over your illustrious career.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Hillgrove along with Myron Cope.
For the right to go to the Super Bowl. He has time, and he launches a rainbow, and it goes up, and it's starting to come down to the end zone. And down there, it is juggled, and in the end zone, oh my, drop! The ball hit the turf. The Steelers are headed to Phoenix. Go. Gets the snap. He scrambles around, throws it back corner of the end zone. Santonio with a touchdown! Santonio Holmes! I don't know how he did it. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie doesn't know how he did it.
Guys, greatness is only a few feet away from us. It's up to us to walk that mile.
The give to the right, and the bus waits. The bus drives, and the bus gets to the goal line. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Jerome Bettis! If you would say, show me what the bus is all about, I'd play that play for you. That's what the bus is all about.
Bill, I mean, those calls just almost like light a fire under you. It's so passionate, and it's unlike almost any other commentator who's ever graced the microphone when it comes to commentating a game on the gridiron. So congratulations on those famous calls, and especially the Santonio Holmes one. That's just a personal favorite.
Well, thank you very much, Sean. As a kid who grew up in Pittsburgh, I grew up rooting for these teams that, you know, I got the privilege to call. And so I think the passion comes naturally. It comes easy. There's the interview with Aaron Donald when he filled up his trophy case a few years back. And he has been good to Pitt, and what a person. I remember Kevin Colbert, the general manager at the time of the Steelers, talking about Aaron. He said, we watched his tape against Georgia Tech, and it took him like 3 or 4 plays. And then once he figured out what they were doing, he was in their backfield the rest of the game. You know, he was a pretty special player. There's my longtime partner, Dick Grote, 40 years together. Probably the greatest athlete that Western Pennsylvania has ever produced.
Absolutely.
And there's some acknowledgement from the Oakland Zoo and the crowd. You know, it's a good ride, and thank goodness it's not going to end. just part of it.
Absolutely. And Bill, I'm going to ask you one last very question. So what legacy do you hope to leave behind after calling it an end on your illustrious Pittsburgh Steelers commentating career?
I want to thank the fans. Without the fans, you don't have a game. If you don't have a game, you don't have a broadcast. And so I owe it all to the fans. And fortunately, the Pitt fans will still be able to share some great moments.
Well, Bill, thank you very much for joining us today. It has been an honor being able to speak with you. And now we're going to toss it back to Charlotte and Jordan at the desk.
Thank you so much to Mr. Hillgrove and Sean McQuillan. I'd like to correct myself there. So, hey Charlotte, do you like museums?
I love museums, especially the museums here we have on campus.
Well, our local museums, the Heinz History Center and the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh, have made some history of their own recently. Our City Beat reporter, Lily Cohen, has more information on their recent rewards. Lily?
Two of Pittsburgh's very own museums snagged top spots in USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. America's Best History Museum went to the Heinz History Center, and the nation's second best Children's Museum went to the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh. We spoke with Brady Smith from the Heinz History Center to hear his thoughts on this incredible achievement.
Just completely honored at the History Center that readers here in Pittsburgh and around the country voted for the Heinz History Center as the #1 history museum. What makes it even more special is just the company that we were on the list that we were able to edge out for the #1 spot. We're talking about 3 other Smithsonian museums that were on the list, National Historic Landmarks like Pearl Harbor and the National Civil Rights Museum and Ellis Island in New York. Really real World Heritage sites that we very much respect as institutions and our peers who work there. And so we're honored that we were picked #1, and it's something that we're going to be touting for the rest of the year and beyond. Pittsburgh is the city of champions, of course, and we're just happy to add another #1 to the list. And that doesn't happen if you don't have amazing support from the community. And it's not just communities here in Western Pennsylvania; it's communities that we serve across the region, across the country. And so, that this honor is a direct reflection of that. It's also a direct reflection of our amazing staff that we have here. It's that total experience that I think people, when they come here, it's a memorable time for them, whether they spend a couple hours or the entire day at the History Center. They come away with a enriched and inspiring experience learning about Pittsburgh's amazing history here. We're the People Museum too, so when people come here, they learn more about our history, but they sort of see themselves, I think, in our exhibits.
The Heinz History Center competed against 21 other excellent educational institutions, beating out every single one of them. The museum focuses on the history of Western Pennsylvania, operating as the Smithsonian flagship in this area of the country. Soon, you'll be able to see a brand new exhibit opening on March 23rd called A Woman's Place, featuring the history of women from Western Pennsylvania and their mark on the world. You can visit the museum from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every Monday through Sunday. You won't want to miss visiting America's best history museum. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Lily Cohen. Charlotte, Jordan.
Thanks, Lily. From prowling as a Pitt Panther to reigning as the principal of Upper St. Clair High School, Dr. Wagner's journey through education is nothing short of remarkable.
Tune in to discover how this former and current Panther is shaping the future of education right here in Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the University
University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna make my we running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt.
Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
In addition to that great interview with Bill Hillgrove today, we have even more about Pittsburgh sports to keep you in the loop.
With more information about the Steelers' latest news, once again, here is City Sports reporter Sean McQuillan. Sean?
Alum Damar Hamlin recently spoke to the media about wanting to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers sometime throughout his NFL career. His rookie contract is due to end at the end of the 2024 NFL season, and when speaking to the media, Hamlin described playing for the Steelers someday as a dream come true.
Damar Hamlin is seeking to come back to a familiar home here at Acrisure Stadium, formerly known to him as Heinz Field.
In Heinz Field, probably for like 8 years straight between Whitfield Championships and Pitt.
As he has hopes to reunite with his former college quarterback and teammate, Kenny Pickett. Damar spoke to the media this past week, saying that playing in Pittsburgh would be a dream come true.
Come back home.
I think ending my career and finishing as a Pittsburgh Steelers would be a dream more so than
It's March 1st, and you know what that means. March Madness is just around the corner. And by what I mean when I say just around the corner, right down the block in Pittsburgh, PPG Paints Arena, March 21st and March 23rd will host the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament, where Duquesne University will be the hosting school for this year's tournament, which does mean that the Pittsburgh Panthers, if they do end up making the tournament, will be able to actually play at PPG Paints Arena and somehow have somewhat of a home game. But with their unfortunate loss recently on the road to Clemson, chances are looking slim. Now, let's turn to the wrestling world and WWE, where former WWE superstar Michael Jones, better known to his fans as Virgil, has sadly passed away at the age of 72. Virgil has had a rough battle with health concerns over the past few years, and best being known for being the bodyguard in the late 80s and early 90s as the $1 Million Man. Our thoughts and condolences from the Pit to the Point crew are sent to the Jones family. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me on the City Sports segment this week. Charlotte, Jordan, back to you.
Thank you, Sean. We now turn to our Pitt Sports Pitt Sports reporter, Megan O'Connell.
In Jordan, this week, Pitt Sports diving and swimming and women's lacrosse have standout players shattering records and dominating on the field. Furthermore, exciting news surrounding the release of College Football 25 and Pitt football's involvement has the campus buzzing with anticipation. Now, let's dive into Pitt diving and swimming's latest updates. Junior Cameron Cash won the ACC 3-meter diving championship in Greensboro, North Carolina this past weekend, and he broke the school record with an impressive score of 448.95. His exceptional dive earned him the title of Most Valuable Diver and is well-deserved considering he's qualified for the NCAA championship for 2 consecutive seasons. Notably, Dylan Reed, one of Cash's teammates, put on a remarkable performance as well, clinching second place in the 3-meter, finishing just behind Cash. Meanwhile, in women's lacrosse action, the Pitt Panthers faced a serious challenge as they faced off against the reigning NCAA champions and ACC powerhouse Boston College last Saturday. Despite their best efforts, Pitt lost 3-19, but they showed resilience as they bounced back from defeat securing a memorable 17-6 victory over Detroit Mercy this past Monday. In other news, excitement is building among college football fans as the College Football 25 video game is set to make its long-awaited return this upcoming July. After an 8-year hiatus since the last edition of the game was released in 2013, Pitt Athletics announced that the Pitt Panthers will join the roster of playable teams in this highly anticipated game. With EA Sports releasing a teaser featuring Pitt football, players who appear in the game through NIL agreements are set to receive $600 along with a copy of the game. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Megan O'Connell. Charlotte, Jordan.
Thank you, Megan. It's time for our Alumni Spotlight. This week, we're shining a light on Dr. Tim Wagner.
Dr. Tim Wagner graduated from the University of Pittsburgh in 2013 with his doctorate in education. After graduation, Tim went on to teach for several years before becoming principal. Let's take a closer look at his post-grad accomplishments.
Receiver of the 2023 Principal of the Year Award, Dr. Tim Wagner, a Pitt alum and now principal at Upper St. Clair High School, talks about his time at Pitt being very positive and how it prepared him for his future.
It prepared me for my future in a lot of ways. Had great internship experiences, and those internship experiences paired me with wonderful mentors in the region. These mentors, taught me so much about what it actually means to be an aspiring principal.
Ever since he was young, Dr. Wagner knew he wanted to be an educator, but didn't know the path he would end up on.
Didn't necessarily begin the career journey thinking that I would, move into school leadership, but I learned that, there were many components of what I was enjoying about my time in the classroom, where I spent the first 8 years of my career, and wanted to translate some of that learning into service to a broader group of people beyond, the students that I teach, in this case, to an entire school community.
Dr. Wagner's love for what he does and the people he does it for shows through when receiving his award.
As I go to school each day and, work on behalf of the children and their families in Upper St. Clair, that's just something that I feel, called to do and just love doing. So when an award like this comes around, it, certainly is humbling. It's a surprise, and, it's a great honor and privilege to, serve a school. And an award like this, I think, just speaks to the, the dedication of our students to their learning and all of the things that, make our school successful. So I'm very grateful to be a part of that.
Did you know that the famous zombie movie Dawn of the Dead was filmed right outside of Pittsburgh? A local convention this weekend continues Pittsburgh's legacy of horror.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna stop my family now. We running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing
So
that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt.
Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the
If you watched a story today that interests you and you want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh, then visit our website.
That's right. If you want to find out more about how the world of politics, medicine, business, and technology, and more, log on to pittothepoint.com. Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read about the topics that interest you and go to all of our social media. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
Make sure to check us out on social media platforms too: Instagram, Facebook, and even the platform of the youth, TikTok.
They're all under the name Pitt to the Point. You'll see your favorite anchor duo there for the next 3 weeks, as well as behind-the-scenes footage from our crew.
Get ready for a spine-chilling weekend at Pittsburgh's Horror Realm Con, being held just south of Pittsburgh near Mount Lebanon.
This convention is a must for any horror fan in Pittsburgh this weekend. Providing us with the details, here's our entertainment reporter, Ariana Stez.
Hello, thank you. So for all of you who are missing Halloween and just the horror vibes of October, this March, look no further than to the Horror Realm Convention. And with genre stars such as George Romero getting their start here in the city of Pittsburgh, it's no question that Yinzer should have a convention of their own. I got to sit down with Rich Delgado to learn all about Horror Realm and what they have in store this year.
Since 2009, Horror Realm has been Pittsburgh's convention for fans of all things related to the horror genre.
My two co-promoters, we had gone to some other events that our friends put on around the country. We realized that Pittsburgh didn't really have something similar. So, and part of it was like, hey, this is the zombie capital of the world. We need to have an event like this. So we just wanted something for the fans to have that other cities got to enjoy. It's definitely evolved over the years, and kind of the formula is make sure you have guests from different eras, get some 90s guests also and some recent guests, because it's nice for people who want to get, the completionists. They want to get every autograph they can on a poster, and then just choose films that, obviously popular, but also sometimes you like to throw some things there that maybe people didn't think about for a while, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, that person's coming. I'm excited for our guest list. We definitely expanded it a little bit. We got some people that I really wanted for a while. For instance, Tyler Main, Rob Zombie, Michael Myers. I've been hoping to have him for a few years. Barbara Crampton from Reanimator. Pretty much since we've started, I hope to have her as a guest. So it took 15 years, but she's going to be here. Vendors for our show, and I personally feel any show, they are part of the heart and soul of it. There will be original artists. There'll be people selling horror toys, movie posters, T-shirts, of course, films, DVDs, Blu-rays. Person selling crystals. There'll be jewelry with a horror theme to it. Anything you can really imagine that you would see at any vendor show, but put a little horror spin on it.
This year's convention will be held from Friday, March 1st through Sunday, March 3rd at the Crown Junction Hotel in south of Pittsburgh. In addition to both the guests and vendors that they'll have, they will also be screening films from across 15 different countries, including 2 local Pittsburgh shorts. In other Pittsburgh entertainment news, the Oscars are right on the horizon, so it's time for the Pittsburgh Film Office's annual gala. Lights Glamour Action is a red carpet event hosted by the Pittsburgh Film Office the Saturday before the Oscars. It highlights the entertainment industry in the South Pennsylvania region and fundraises for bringing more productions to the area. Tickets and more information are at pghfilm.org. Thank you. I'm entertainment reporter Ariana Stez. Jordan, Charlotte.
Thank you, Ariana, and congratulations on your on-camera debut.
Don't forget, Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh's website, as well as the Pitt to the Point website.
You can also watch a rerun of the show on Saturday morning at 10:30 on CBSN, which is KDKA TV's streaming platform. Make sure you tune in.
Well, Jordan, it looks like we have officially reached the end of our first show. I'm feeling pretty relieved. How do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. Hosting makes all of this worth getting up at 4 a.m. I'm running on adrenaline and caffeine right now. What about you?
I don't drink coffee. Who needs coffee when you have Pitt to the Point?
So true, Charlotte.
Anyway, do you have any plans for the nice weather on Sunday?
I don't, but we're out of time now. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.